Yo! Hi everybody, this is Fantastic, and for this section of the stream, it's going to be audio only, as tonight RJ has a special interview. So, without further ado, take it away, RJ!
Yes, hello everybody. Good evening all. I hope I find you safe and well. It's just gone 7 o'clock. We are live across the UK. How are we doing this evening? It's a special program tonight, so if you're expecting your usual, then we are coming together. It's Patch Tuesday. It's the 12th of May 2026. And whatever you're up to, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. It's just coming up to 3 minutes past 7, and whatever you're doing right now, if you're listening at home or if you're just traveling, maybe you're going out somewhere tonight, the next hour is going to be an exciting hour ahead because, of course, as many of you will know, it is that time of year again. The 26H2 voice will be announced in a few weeks' time. The next 3 shows will be quite exciting. So tonight, after a couple songs, I've got REM coming up and Jump as well from 1983. So I've got a couple songs to play before we interview our wonderful Hannah Clarkson, who's been our voice now since September the 30th, 2025. It's actually mad to think that Hannah was the voice since the 30th of September when 25H2 started. So Hannah's going to be here. So if you got any questions for her on her experience here, maybe you want to ask her about what is it like to do the Patch Tuesday tradition, recording on the day of Patch Tuesday. Maybe you're a talent and you are planning to come here. Maybe you've got a question for Hannah. Do send them in on text message. Usual text numbers apply. Usual WhatsApp numbers apply as well. So plenty of stuff to come between now and 8 o'clock. So, yeah, we're live across the UK right now, and we will kick off with a wonderful 80s song. It's called Jump, and it plays here on your home of arts and culture, is yours truly. The Arts and Culture Show, we're live across the UK right now. Okay, we're going to start with REM then.
Bigger, it's bigger than you are not me. The links that I will go to, the distance in your eyes. Oh no, I've said too much. I set it up. That's me in the corner. was just a dream. That was just a dream. That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion, trying to keep up with you, and I don't know if I can do it. I'm now said too much. I haven't said enough. I thought that I heard you laughing. I thought that I heard you sing. I think I thought I saw you try, but that was just a dream. Try, cry, lie, try. That was just a dream, just a dream, just a dream, dream.
REM on the home of arts and culture. It's yours truly. My name's RJ. We're live across the UK. How are we doing this evening? Just gone 8 minutes past 7. It's a Tuesday night, 12th of May 2026. It's Patch Tuesday today, special show. But we still got wonderful tunes to play as always. Just a reminder as well, by the way, if you are listening on YouTube, you won't be able to hear us in 2 weeks' time because, of course, Sam is going down to Cornwall, so we won't be bringing you our special preview show. So if you want to listen to that in 2 weeks' time, you'll have to retune to us elsewhere on the usual platforms that we serve. So if you are on YouTube and you're hoping to enjoy my preview interview on the 26th of May, you won't be able to hear that here because, of course, Sam's going to Cornwall, so he won't be able to simulcast this wonderful show that is yours truly, the home of arts and culture, live across the UK right now. So if you're just joining us, I hope you're doing well, whatever you're up to on this Tuesday night. Shout out to Ben, who sends me a message, who says here, nice to hear you're at least trying to integrate your show on YouTube. I know, I've done it now, maybe for a few months. And it's going really well, actually, and I'm hoping that the YouTube audience are going to like it, but I know some won't. I know most people who are on YouTube are going to be going, hey, I'm here for the electronic game stream. Hey, which, by the way, after I'm done at 8 o'clock, Sam will be unboxing the Boogie Ball. It's a French one, so if you're on YouTube, I hope you can stick around for that. But if you're not on YouTube, then we will, of course, bring you the latest in what's happening here and right around the regions on the evening show as per usual. So Hannah's going to be with us very shortly if you're just joining us and you're wondering what's happening. So Hannah Clarkson will be joining us here on the radio station as we interview her, because as you know, 26H2 is upon us. We will be revealing who will be the 26H2 voice is going to become. So I hope you can stick around for the big reveal, the viewless 26H2 voice, because every single year, if you're a new listener to us, maybe it's your first time joining us, we always have a voiceover who voices for us on a monthly basis. So well, obviously it's tradition that we bring you a new voice. Usually this time of year we put the auditions out and then we usually make the big reveal in June. 9th of June is the date you need to be here, 7 o'clock. We'll do the special program on June the 9th. And then before then, May 26th, I'll be doing a preview show. And like I said, that won't be on YouTube. So if you are looking forward to that, then you'll need to find us. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on X. So you can give us a cheeky follow whilst you're at it. So whilst I get excited for Hannah Clarkson, she's going to be here very soon, I'm going to play another song because, quite simply put, it's only right we keep the tunes coming on this Tuesday evening, because why not? Because quite simply put, we are the home of arts and culture, always have been for the last few years. So I hope you can stick with us between now and 8 o'clock. My name's RJ, we're live across the UK, Hannah will be with us very soon.
Sam Lock YouTube channel.
I get up and nothing gets me down. You got it tough. I've seen the toughest around. And I know, baby, just how you feel. You got to roll with the punches and get to what's real. Can't you see me standing here? I got my back against the wrecking machine. I ain't the worst that you've seen. Can't you see what I mean? Might as well jump, jump. Might as well jump. Go ahead and jump, jump. Go ahead and jump. Oh, hey you, who said that? Baby, how you been? You say you don't know, you won't know until you begin. Can't you see me standing here? I got my back against the wrecking machine. I ain't the worst that you've seen. Can't you see what I mean? Might as well jump, jump. Go ahead and jump. Might as well jump, jump. Go ahead and jump. Jump. Might as well jump. Go ahead and jump. Get it and jump. Go ahead and jump. 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 Jump.
The Arts and Culture Show. Sam Lock YouTube channel.
That was Jump on your Arts and Culture Show. We're live across the UK. How are we doing? Just gone 7:15. It's Tuesday night. We're live here until 8 o'clock, wherever you're joining us. We have a special program between now and then. I hope you can stick around for the whole time, because obviously, it's, as many of you will know, we have the transition to 26H2, and that gets underway. So if you can stick around for that, I hope you can stick around for it. A special show You can send your questions in. This is designed for new talent, so if you're fairly new, or maybe you're someone who's visiting us for the first time, you can get in touch with the program. Usual text number, usual phone number, and of course, wherever you're joining us, however you're listening to the program. So, without further ado, I'm about to welcome the guests very soon. But before I do, let me just remind you as well, just to reiterate a couple things. In 2 weeks' time, we do have another show happening, but it won't be available across the UK because, of course, Sam is going to Cornwall. So if you want to hear that preview show, you'll have to find us. Those will know where to find us, but I know that if we're across the UK, I can't be promoting that somewhere else. You know, you got to be impartial and things like that on yours. Truly the home of arts and culture right across the UK.
The Arts and Culture Show.
Oh.
Sam Locke YouTube channel.
My jingles ain't working. It's happened to me again. Why does my... So for those who don't know, I have an ability to play split jingles from in the studio, and it doesn't always work. So forgive me if I mess up today. Right, let's welcome into the network show. Hannah Clarkson's here.
Hello.
She's here. She's with me. How does it feel to be live across the UK once again?
Yes, very exciting. Thanks for having me on.
So, of course, it's the tradition, it's the transition process between now 25H2, which is what we're actively on, it's what we are doing our jingles, but those all who are listening on preview, because actually there are two versions of this show going out, so if you're on YouTube, it's weird, because they're hearing your voice, weirdly enough, but if you're on the preview stream, you get to hear a couple test jingles I've done with a particular somebody. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But if you're on the preview, we a lot of people have asked for it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to treat my preview listeners to some of the stuff that I probably will never use ever again. But you know, a lot of people are asking, so we thought let's surprise them. If you're on YouTube, you're not going to notice a wink. Anyway, we're here till 8 o'clock, so it's really me and you. You're going to ask us any question you like about your truly the 25H2. So I'll just start asking this question because I know a lot of the listeners here may not know who you are, because some of them might have joined us later on because they would have heard me promote this on another radio station. I'll get to that in a moment. But first of all, would you like to tell the listeners who you are and what you're about?
So I am Hannah Clarkson, radio presenter. I've been working in the radio industry for far too long now. We won't tell anyone, RJ, because then everyone will know how old I am. But let's just say it's been a little while. And yes, I worked in radio, lived all across the UK, really presented in Hampshire, Cambridgeshire, across the UK for Hearts, and lived out in the Middle East for a little while as well, in the UAE, in Dubai, presented out there for 10 years or so, and now back, and I have been the voice of your fantastic project for the last year, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
You know, it's actually really emotional, and I find this show's going to be quite emotional for me as well, because, you know, this will probably be the last time we'll ever mention 25H2 in its current form, because, you know, I know you'll still be the voice of it for the next few months, but as many will know, we start transition to the new one very soon, and obviously this is kind of, I would like to say, maybe the closure or the beginning of the end, really, because
yes, it is really. It's the start of the change, isn't it? And the change has been imminent for a while. You know it's always going to happen, but then when it does, it's a bit like, oh, it's happening.
I mean, you've already noticed the beds were different. I mean, I've got a message saying, oh, you got shiny new beds tonight, and you know, a lot of people are saying, you know, they've noticed some changes. Yes, the voice is the same, but obviously when we introduced the new beds yesterday, people were going, oh, is this the sign of a new 26H2? Speculation. And that's why we put this show on tonight, to give the listeners comfort, because, you know, a lot of radio stations, when they introduce a new voice, they just say, here's a new voice.
Yeah.
You know, up it goes. No warning whatsoever. But here we give our listeners a warning a few months ahead of time, because then they get used to it. And what I love about this project is many radio stations will just have their voiceover doing their jingles, never appearing on radio shows. I don't know any radio station, at least in our market, who would get their voice talent on the show to say, you know, you're the voice. They'll just do the voiceover and that's it. But you know,
That's right.
we're community centered and we want to give back, and you know, you're part of that community, so that's why we get you on, because there's a human side to it. Because people think we're machines and we're not. So it's because we're both we're all humans. So anyway, you meant go on.
I was just going to say we are, and we mean a lot to a lot of people. So it's important to kind of keep sharing the love and just keep letting people realise that we know that they're important. You know what I mean?
You know, there's a lot of people who've, you know, and I'll admit I do it sometimes as well, but a lot of people think we're machines. You know, people think, you know, we make the jingles behind the scenes, you know, because I'm not always presenting on the show. I'm presenting at least two shows a month, because I'm more behind the scenes doing the jingles, and a lot of people think that I'm a robot just making machines. You know, I have a life. I go outside with my family. You got a family, you know. You got children and things like that. And
yes,
you know, people got to realise that there's a life that goes outside of this studio. But you know, sometimes people forget that because they're just so immersed into that radio aspect of it, and it does happen. But you know, that's why we put these shows on, so that people know that actually we are human. We're still human, and
exactly.
they get to hear the human side of you, not just the jingle side of you, which people have enjoyed over the wonderful. Since the 30th of September 2025, it's mad to think that we've been here for nearly, what was it, 8 months now?
Yeah, must be about that. Was it September, was it? We started this?
Yeah, we started working together when 25H2 was about to get underway. So it was, actually, we started a week before the general public had 25H2, I think it was September 23rd. But September the 30th is the official beginnings of 25H2, and that's kind of when we started working together. And of course we had the inauguration as well, and that was a big moment as well. But we're going to try and keep the show kind of in the mix between the current 25H2 and the future of 26H2 as well. But you get to really ask us any questions you like, so ask me and Hannah anything. At Viewless Network on Instagram, socials, or Twitter. We're on Twitter, which I find Twitter a very strange place at the moment.
Oh, it's so strange, isn't it? Well, it's actually X. Don't forget, you get it wrong.
It happens, I know. No, because I've seen a lot of things on there. There's just mean people on there. I don't know what's happened. Like, people are saying things that they wouldn't say in real life, and I saw a couple of things. Even people in radio have been saying things they shouldn't be saying, referencing something that was said on a radio station yesterday. But you know, I find Twitter, or X as it's known now, but most people still call it Twitter, I just find it a very weird place to be, you know, and I've had doubts if I should leave it, but Radio Today's on there, and that's what I use to know what's going on in the radio industry. And
I think the thing with X or Twitter, whatever we want to call it, is that it as much as it isn't something that we like and something that we might represent all the views, but actually it's so useful in so many ways. And in the world of radio, I do think it's important to still kind of keep, because like you say, it keeps you in touch with people, it keeps you connected to people, and it does help, I think.
I think it's a great platform when it's used properly. And then there's this thing called Grok, and that's been misused.
Oh gosh, that is I don't really even understand what Grok is, to be honest.
It's basically what we call in our little circle, we call it AI slop. It's just another AI slop, you know, with Chat GPT and Copilot, and
yeah, it's X's version of ChatGPT, isn't it? Really?
And people are doing things they shouldn't be, to the point where I know Ofcom is intervening. You know, that's how bad it's gotten, and it's just it was in the news. I think it was June last year. I saw it. Because there were people making, and it's a family show, so I'm going to try and keep it nice here, but there were people doing, how shall I say it? I'll just say it like this, they're doing things that you wouldn't do outside your house, the private things. We'll keep it at that, but it's people are asking AI to do things that they shouldn't be, and it's I think it's, but you know, this is the modern era, I guess. We got to just, you know, move on, but anyway, we'll try and keep on topic here, because I'm getting away with myself here, because Hannah's here to answer your questions. It's more of a get to know both of us. Because we have technically been stars of this project, you know.
Yes.
So because people think RJ and Hannah, they think we're breakfast show hosts. I find it so weird. People think that me and you work together all the time, which we do, just not on the air.
Yeah, that's right. Just not on the air, but maybe one day.
One day, when it happens, when the money allows it. When the money allows it. But no, because me and you, and I think we need to introduce ourselves properly. There's a lot of new talent who are joining us right across the country, prospective ones, and so I think it's only right that I should introduce myself as well.
Yes.
My name is RJ, if you didn't know, and I've been in the radio industry since I was 13 years old, and that was like 9 years. I'm nearly 23 years old, so, you know, I've started out
So
when...
old, RJ. So old.
Well, according to somebody at another radio station, I'm really, really, really young.
Oh, really? Wow.
Really, really young for what I do, especially when I'm directing talent as well. Like, you wouldn't be expecting
Doing incredible.
a 23-year-old. You know, I started this, well, at least the yearly cycle thing when I was, I think, 19 years. It came out of student radio and I was directing talent there, and I brought it here, and that's kind of how it got underway. And if you were listening to a particular show yesterday, I kind of went into details about that, but for those who don't have access to that particular show, you know, this annual cycle is something that means a lot to me, and it just works. And we'll talk about how it works in a moment. But I'm going to ask you the question, because I know we've known each other now for goodness knows how long, longer than we've been on the air together. But do you want to explain kind of, you know, because obviously those will know, before the model came about, we did the annual contest. That went taboo, so I went to my what's called the wish list, and you were on that wish list. But describe to me and the listeners, what made you decide to come here when you were approached by us last year?
So yeah, you approached me at an interesting time in my career, because I had, as you remember, sadly lost my job working at Hearts.
Yeah.
Now that was quite a big deal. Obviously, it was my Monday to Friday. It's what I'd been doing. I've been working for that company for such a long time, and everything was a bit up in the air. You kind of came along like some sort of knight in shining armor, shall we say? And you said, we've got this opportunity, you can be back on the radio, you can be back making noises. And I sort of thought, yes, do you know what, let's do it. And ever since, and you just made it so easy for me, RJ, you know, you just made it so simple to just kind of get involved. And it's such a lovely thing that you're doing, and you know, you're reaching out to a lot of people that kind of need it and appreciate it, and to be a part of that is just fab.
You know, like you said, and I know we mentioned it, Heart and Capital as well. I know they've lost jobs. Hundreds of people lost jobs last year, and you know, 165 radio stations went just from being local to now being just 3 national brands. And you know, I know it's a business decision, and I know that I know that there are people who I'm good friends with, and you're good friends with, who still work for that company. So you know, I'm trying to not be biased to anybody, but I think it was a sad time. But you know, at the same time, I know that from their point of view, you know, they want to expand, and that's what they did. And you know, it's a really sad moment, but I think we got to look at the positives. We sprung up and we went, oh well, we got an opportunity to do something here. And yes, we had some controversial people come here during that process. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Some of them are used to work for Global as well. But you know, in terms of, you know, you were fairly new to the project at the time. I was still I was a bit nervous, let's just say. You know, I was still with Faye at the time. But in terms of the concept of recording on a predictable schedule,
yes.
What describe to the listeners kind of you knew the dates already. You knew the dates for 2026 even long before the year came around.
I remember you emailing me with all the dates, like, I think you emailed me in 2025, the dates we will be doing in 2026. Yeah. I was just like, wow. I mean, they're organised, and then there's this. I mean, it's fantastic, really, because you can kind of just, the fact that you know when it's going to be, you can plan your time around it, you can just get in, it just makes sense. Like, there's nothing wrong with being organised, and I absolutely love the organisation of it. It just really, really works.
Yeah, and we talk, and the fact that we do it on the second Tuesday, I guess for you, when you're gonna finish up later, I guess how is your Patch Tuesdays gonna be without doing a recording session? Because it's been
it's
your
gonna be-
fixture.
I know, my Patch Tuesdays. How am I going to cope without them? Maybe I'll have to sit in and listen.
I've had some jokes come through. People saying, maybe we should do a show together on like a once a month show, keep the momentum going. People have suggested I should do a show, but it's like, really? Should I?
You do, of course, yeah, of course. Would you like to do that?
Well, if my budget allows it.
You're not quite sure, are you? You're not quite sure.
I'm not doing.
I put you on the spot there.
People know I've got a. We already stretched. Look, we'll figure something out. We'll discuss it another time. But go on.
Yeah. Maybe one day in the future. The one thing after all this is we know when this project finishes, it's not the end of our friendship. It's not the end of our communications and stuff, is it?
And of course, you've got projects coming up later on in the year as well. I know you're going to be doing stuff for our wonderful friends, who I have good relationships with at your local BBC Nations and Regions.
Yes.
Tell us about your stint on BBC Nations and Regions.
So I've been doing some shows now on BBC Radio Oxford, which is absolutely fantastic. They kind of came up pretty quickly. I contacted them quite a while ago. I contacted them back in 2025, yeah, in January 25. When I found out about the heart change, I contacted my local BBC station and I just said, look, is there any chance we can meet up, any opportunities? I went in and met them and they were like, oh yeah, we'll keep you in mind. And then over a year had passed. And then finally they were like, oh, actually, yeah, we have got some work. Would you like to come in and meet us? So I did. I went in and I met them. And yeah, they've booked me for quite a few shows. I've covered on Easter Monday. I did the breakfast show on Bank Holiday Monday, which was a bit, Good Monday, which was, my gosh, talk about stressful and nervous, honestly. I haven't been that nervous opening a microphone for a long time because it was, really kind of full on. You're working for the BBC, you're in these big studios and, it's something quite prestigious. And, did that first show. And then I asked them for my feedback and they said, well, the feedback is we'd like you to come back and do some more shows. So that was pretty good feedback.
It's, and the fact that and this is what I love about this project, you were in that transition from going from heart and global, and this is kind of your middle. So you were still, because if we think about it, you technically still open up your mic to me, obviously, on the second Tuesday.
Yes.
So it's kind of this is your middle between your former place and potentially your future. And we'll talk about 26H2 in a moment, but I've got some questions coming in. If you'd like to get in touch with me in the studio, please do. It means a lot. So if you can get in touch, usual details.
The Arts and Culture Show. Officially
Officially.
the home of arts and culture. Sam Locke YouTube channel.
So this is your Arts and Culture Show. Get in touch with me live across the UK. So I got a couple messages coming in here. This is from James, who says, wow, I didn't know you were the voice of the 25H2. I heard you on Radio Oxford. Congratulations. That comes from James, and this is from an anonymous texter who's tuning in Basingstoke. I don't know where that is. I've never been. Where is Basingstoke?
It's in Hampshire. It's the Hampshire, but oh gosh, now you've put me on the spot. Hampshire Surrey border, is it?
I don't know.
Basingstoke. It's a town. Yeah, hang on. It is a town in England. It is in what state? State.
State.
It's in Hampshire. Yeah, it is in Hampshire.
So it's in the south. So this anonymous texter from Hampshire says, oh, I remember you from the Power days. Wow,
Yay!
Blast from the past. Nice to hear you on 25H2. Congratulations for your position in the BBC. This one comes from Lewis, who's tuning in to me in Cambridge. He says, wow, I always wondered where Hannah left to. I missed listening to her on the network show on Drive Time. This is from Lewis, who says, I know a couple friends who are considering the 26H2 or future projects. How predictable is the dates? Now, obviously, I could answer that, but you've seen the project happen unfold. Do you want to kind of explain? Because you saw that email, and when did I send you the dates?
Oh, gosh, where can I find that? A long time ago, because I remember speaking to you for the first time back in April or May, I think. of
Yeah,
20
April.
Yeah. And then I believe you probably sent the dates not long after that.
So in terms of the dates, because of course it's a fixed schedule, what was the advantages of knowing them years in advance potentially?
The advantage of that is that you can sort of plan your life around it a little bit. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there is always a little bit of flexibility with us, isn't there? Like
Yeah,
we can
it
always
is.
sort of, if things don't work out. Obviously, in life, things do crop up. But the main thing about having the dates in advance is just that you can just know what's going on, and you just know when you can be there. And also, I presume it massively helps you because then you know when you are working, when you've got the talent around, and you can get yourself all prepared. And it's just helpful having a guide and a plan for me.
And we can work at least maximum 2 years ahead of time. So we've already got the dates for 27 into 28. So it's
that is prepared,
it's
isn't it?
when 26H2 launches, then the dates for 28 into 29 will be known. So
Yeah.
it's the fact that we can prepare for this a maximum of 2 years in advance, because it follows a fixed cycle unless some company decides to change it. Pavan and Satya Nadella and whoever else is involved, if they decide, sod it, I will change the date. I hope they don't, and I know they won't, because it will not just, because we're not the only project that follows this particular system. I know not many radio projects do. A lot of tech related businesses do follow this model, but I think we're kind of the only radio project that kind of goes in this kind of format, second Tuesday of the month, because it's more of a tech thing, but obviously we kind of we took advantage of that. Go on.
Does everybody know why you call it Patch Tuesday?
Well, Patch Tuesday comes from the tech. So actually, this project came from because I do software stuff. When I'm not doing radio stuff, I'm actually doing security research and very technical, geeky things. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to bring that over to the radio side. Because, as many of you know, radio is not my full time. The tech thing is kind of my full time. That's what I do. But, the radio is kind of the side. I do this as a passion project, as many will know. And that, Patch Tuesday has been going on since 14th of October 2003. So it's been going for 23 years in the tech industry, and we kind of bumped along 4 years ago. So it's kind of, it is a tradition. It's been going on for nearly 23 years. And because of how predictable it is, I thought, why isn't the radio industry following this model? And I wish that more radio stations would follow it. I know that some stations have kind of a quarterly, and some stations got really big budgets and they're not using it to their advantage. They're going, oh, I'll just do it once in a while, there's services like Real World One and Imager, which are updating jingle library packages that are available. Very expensive. They're costing like in the thousands, which is understandable because it's for the commercial radio sector.
Well, yeah.
But it's they do it every month, but you don't know when it comes out. Whilst with if they followed the Patch Tuesday thing, they know the jingles come out at 6 p.m. UK time on the second Tuesday of each month. It's a predictable schedule.
Yes.
Because obviously as well with the jingle contract, so you always align it with what Microsoft are doing, so it would follow the life cycle policy. So like with 25H2 and 24H2. So it's really, we're just kind of mirroring what Microsoft is doing, but in a kind of a radio sense. It just works. You just know the dates. But there are stresses that come with the system, which will get into, and we'll talk about 26H2 now, because I think we're in that part of the show where we are going to talk about the future. But as you reflect from 25H2, and I must remind listeners as well, if you are worried about end of support for 25H2, there is extended support later on in the year. So when me and Hannah are done, 25H2 will still be around, but it's just that we will be prioritizing 26H2, beginning 2 weeks' time. But in terms of your transition now, you saw the transition from 24H2 to 25H2, which was, when you were only starting. And now you're in that same position where Faye was when you were. So as you reflect on your experience, we still got 5 sessions left of the 25H2 life cycle. What is your kind of takeaway from the project since we've started on the 30th of September 2025?
I think the one thing that I will always remember about this project when we do finish it is just the amount, the passion that you have for it, and the amount of the amount of hard work that you put in for this. It's just unreal. It really is. Like, people would never realize, I don't think, how much you put into it and how much of your time you dedicate to it, because you really, really do. And it really shows, I think. People understand when people, because you put so much effort into it and so much passion, it makes people want to work with you. For me, anyway, that's what I would believe. I just think it's it's a real passion project. You can tell it really comes from the heart, and that is one of the things that you don't get very often in radio,
Yeah, because a lot of radio, I'm not saying all, but I know a lot of people in radio only care about, numbers and figures. And I like the numbers and figures as well, but I believe in the community, and it's community first before anything else. I don't care if I lose figures on Radar Day this Thursday. That's not my bothers. What matters to me is we give back to the people who come here, because we're geeks at the end of the day. This project is really here for the jingle geeks who have a passion for jingles, who want to come here as a side, and that's really why we do what we do, because really we are known for the jingles. We are known for the shows as well. We do decent shows, but it's the jingles, and that's why a lot of people come here. And we'll talk about the transition process, because Faye, I'm just fortunate, just to say it, that you have not seen the worst of the transitions. When Faye was here, it was worse last year. Put it that way. It was worse, because we've had some really, let's just say, situations that I'm glad it hasn't happened in a while. But we'll talk about the transition, because I remember you texted me once going, why do you stress yourself in the transition?
Yeah, I did.
Because obviously, I'm not naming names, but obviously you saw the transition, and it's nearly complete. Obviously, you know who it's going to be. Obviously, we're not going to announce it today. That's for her to announce in 2 weeks' time, or the 9th of June if you're on YouTube. But in terms of the transition process, which began the moment we inaugurated you, we started the planning for 26H2. I think it was January the 27th. Right. Which was when 26H2 was announced. So we actually started vetting talent then. So we've been vetting for about 4 months. But in terms of the transition, kind of from your side as the 25H2, despite the chaos, describe the transition as you saw it unfold in front of your own eyes.
You want me to be, despite the chaos, you're saying, so don't mention the chaos.
Well, if you want to, that's fine, but just don't name the names.
So it's not so much chaos. I just think you feel sort of, for you, in the terms of how much time and effort you put into situations and into what you're doing, and then for it not to be not reciprocated, but for it to not work out and for you to be let down is disheartening, isn't it, really? Because you think, you're doing this because you care about it and you want to help people and what you're doing, and then when it doesn't work out for everybody, it's a bit sad, if I'm honest. And I felt bad for you at certain times, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, and obviously, it's, and I say every year, you never know who's going to turn up, and this year was I wouldn't say damaging, but one of them was your friend. How did it feel to know that they were transitioning and failed without naming them, obviously, but how did it feel you kind of knew they were going to stumble before I knew, because, you asked me a crucial question back in our March session, and you asked me a very important question, and I'll be honest, I didn't answer that question properly.
What did I ask? I can't remember what I asked.
I think it was something like, I mentioned about live sessions, and you asked me, and I said to you she was avoiding live sessions, and you kind of knew straight away it wasn't going to last. But obviously,
the thing is, when you do this project and you do it very well and it works for you, it works for the way you work, and I don't know why you would lower yourself to doing something then you know it doesn't work. You know, why would you? This is your standard, it's your project, it's your life, it's your company, it's your what you do. Why let somebody else dictate how you do it?
You know, obviously you knew who you met her in your distant past, you know, when you used to work at the same another radio station at the time. But obviously when you found out she was here, you know, you were I guess you were hopeful that she was going to make it, I guess.
Well, of course, yeah, because you know that when it's someone that you sort of know, you can pass it on and be like, oh yeah, this is exciting. I've done this. We can, I can give her some tips and explain how it all works and stuff. And then when that didn't work out, I felt sad for you, and I felt a bit disappointed that we weren't able to discuss it together.
You know, but then we also got to highlight as well the rigorous system that's in place, the backup, and I think that's what a lot of people don't get. You know, a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's so sad to learn." And look, I will on the record because I was fortunate to be interviewed on a national radio station yesterday, which I actually played it to you in our session earlier.
You did.
Now, I'm not nudging, I'm not accusing the presenter, but you heard what the presenter said about this individual, and I'm glad he didn't name her because my heart was racing at the time because it was live and there was like 5 million people listening to it. So I was very scared, but I'm glad he didn't name it. But in terms of what was your reaction on what the presenter said about this said individual, like, what would you say?
He was trying to be diplomatic about it all, wasn't he? But I think at the end of the day, he kind of understood where a lot of us are coming from, and kind of not letting you lower your standards, I think, and doing what other people want just because it's their way. Do you think?
And like he said, I know he said something about another somebody, which I won't mention, from 2 years ago, 24H2, who I know you've actually covered in recent nudge, nudge, wink, wink. He said, and I understand where he's coming from. There are certain people who shouldn't be in radio, but I think I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but I understand why he would say it, because he doesn't know the full system. He only sees one. I think that's why we got this special show happening now, because I think a lot of people see one side of the system, but they don't see what the backup goes into it, the rigorous planning. And that's another thing. When the friend of yours, let's just put it this way, said that she was gone, describe how I was able to seamlessly say, okay, that's fine, not to worry, we got this new person here anyway. Like, describe how seamless I was, and I didn't make a fuss about it.
Because you are super prepared and you are super organised and you always have a backup plan, and you were just like, no problem, I'll do the backup. And it's almost like you were ready for a fall, which is the best way it can be, right? You're ready for an issue, you're ready for something to go wrong, and when it does go wrong, you're there to pick up the slack, and it doesn't bother you. It's like water off a duck's back.
For you, how did you feel that she didn't make it, though, this year? Because I know she was the favourite. She was the favourite. A lot of listeners were expecting it. And then when she didn't make it this year, despite the fact that, because I always say each year, things happen for a reason. If she didn't fail, let's just say, or if she didn't meet the system, this new person who we're going to be interviewing in 2 weeks' time, she wouldn't be here. So, you think about it, everyone comes here, they have dreams to be here. Exactly. Some of them wait for a very long time to be here, and the fact is things happen for a reason, and I think a lot of people, they like to dwell on, you could be a fan of somebody, go on.
I was going to say, there's no point in dwelling on what hasn't worked and what hasn't happened, because the fact of the matter is, it didn't work, and I think everything happens for a reason, It didn't work, and there must be a reason for that, and it just means you can get excited about the next step and the next person.
And I don't want to give big clues on who the 26H2 voice is going to be, because she's going to be with me in 2 weeks' time. But it's really weird to think that, you're doing stuff for the BBC local radio station in many moments, but this person used to present on BBC Local, and she did election coverage. You would have seen her do reporting a week or so ago. No, I'm not going to say which region because that will give it away, but she did some TV reporting for the local election on Thursday. She did a special BBC Local, oh no, I can't say when because that's going to give it away as well. But it's mad to think she's going from that, she's got a 2-week break, and then she's going to be here. So I guess it works out, because, you would have seen the the BBC are making cuts to 2,000
Yeah.
jobs. And obviously, as soon as that news came out, I was approached, and I think it says something about the project, I guess.
Of course it does. It says something about the project, that people want to get involved, that people are keen for it, that people know about it. That's a big thing as well, isn't it? Surely for you, that people know about it and that people want to get involved.
I think without giving the ball away, because I know we will do another show probably later on in the year, kind of a final farewell show. I
Okay.
think that's scheduled September 22nd. I'm yet to confirm that because I know I'll be joining up with a record label. I think there's going to be a band performing for the farewell show. I remember doing it for Faye last year, and I had about 3 artists from a record label, unsigned ones as well. So we usually do a farewell show to say thank you very much, and you make a speech at the end, thank you all, and then obviously you got the transition, the so-called inauguration on October 13th. It's so weird saying those dates in the month of May. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
find it so weird. Like, May 12th, I said about May 12 back in February, I think. You'll remember me mentioning May 12 all the time, and it's here. So it's very exciting. In terms of, because I know we won't be hearing from you. Well, I will be hearing from you. We'll still have our sessions. We got June the 9th, and for the listeners as well, because I know people are asking. When is so June 9, July 14, August 11, September 8, and October 13. So those are the last 5 sessions, all falling on the second Tuesday of each month. So I'm going to read some of the text messages coming in as well, because I know a couple talent here who want to have their own kind of questions here. There are some messages I'm not going to read because I know they are digging at. I think some of the listeners know who we're digging at, and I do understand the frustration. I am frustrated too, but I want to reassure the listeners that the testing system, that's why it exists, the testing thing. Because, if the testing thing didn't exist and we gave her that contract and she signed it and then she bellied up, it would cause issue. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because when you sign something, you can't, it becomes a dispute. And that's why the testing system exists. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realise. The testing system exists so that things can go wrong without scrutiny. And in some way, I do look forward to something going wrong each year. Do I enjoy it? No, I don't. But it's part of the story, and you can say at least they came here, and that's what I can say. I can say this big name came here from the West Midlands, and and she gave it a go. It wasn't for her, so be it, and that's it really. And also I think there was another name that also came along who you kind of know of, but again she missed 2 Patch Tuesdays in a row, which is unheard of. I mean, without digging at them, I mean, this. What would you say to people who are in testing and who misses 2 Patch Tuesdays in a row?
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
Not good.
It's not on, really, is it? Yeah, it's not on.
They
But anyway, let's move forward. We've got lots of exciting things to come, and it's all sorted now.
Yes, it is all sorted, and obviously looking forward to the future. 26H2 and soon to be 27H2, because as soon as 26H2 starts, we will be planning for 27H2. But as we look forward to the last final sessions together, and they will be emotional, I know it will be. I think October the 13th will be quite teary. I know I'll be crying tears. I remember the last time I cried tears when you were around was on your last ever day on Heart, 21st of February, 2025. So it's kind of it's like a but you know what I love about this is that at least you're not being sacked. You know it's ending. You know that. I mean, you knew from the beginning when it was going to end, and that's the main thing. Like, this new talent knows when hers will end, October 12th, 2027. So I say that date as if it's in 1 year. So we all know the end date. You know the start date. You know the end date, and that is a wonderful thing. This is a question from somebody. I won't name them because it's a competitor of mine, but I'm grateful that she's listening. But she's kind of curious. So I'm going to read this message out. I won't name her, but she says, "Good evening, all. Nice to hear a friend of mine on the radio." She says here. I've lost that text message now. I'll read this one from Mark instead. I'll read the message from Mark when it comes back. Because, of course, it's nearly 8, so I need to start wrapping up as well.
Yes.
So Mark says to RJ and Hannah, thank you for your service. I look forward to the 26H2 voice. Who will it be? Oh, I can't say who it's going to be. You gotta tune in 2 weeks' time. It won't be on YouTube though, so it will only be on preview. So obviously preview shows aren't available to the public, so they're only available internally. So if you're on the mailing list and you are subscribed to our mailing list, you'll have access to that preview show in 2 weeks. But I'm excited. All I'll say is it's somebody who is reliable, and I make sure they're reliable. And that's what I said, in my... I mean, did you see that speech I did last week? I mean, I did send a copy on Friday. But, like I said, I make sure that the people who come here do work, and I test them, and I make sure that they... Because I'll be honest, without... because I can be a bit mean sometimes, but when I knew this particular somebody who was falling, let's just say, I set a trap. And I do this all the time. I would set a trap in the project, and let's see what happens. And I knew she was going to fail the trap, and she failed it quite miserably. Wow. She failed it to the point where she posted in the WhatsApp group to say, I'm very busy and I don't have time, because I know because she knew she wasn't going to fall for that trap. And obviously it was quite devastating, but at the same time, you've got to make sure that they are rigorous, because at the end of the day, they're humans too, If they can't fit the system, so be it. You've got look at the radio results, and you think, oh well, you got hundreds of listeners who tune in. How many of them are people in radio? So you got a nice pool of talent to choose from. Yeah. You got to rely on your audience, and you got your wish list as well, and that's what I use. And you were on that wish list. I'm so grateful that you were the first, and it's great to be together. Right, a couple of final thoughts then. We are about to finish up. If you're listening on the Samrock channel, Sam will be unboxing his boogie ball very shortly, the French one. If you're elsewhere though, that will be it from us. Of course, evenings will be here very soon. But in terms of your 26H2, you're looking ahead. You've got the transition now. What would your message to anybody, because it's a fixed schedule, unless Microsoft decide to change it, I'm hoping and I'm hopeful that they will stick to this schedule. But what is your message to potential talent who are considering this project for 27H2 or 28H2, if we want to go 2 years in advance? What would you say to those people?
We are planning ahead. I would say to people who are planning on or thinking of ever working with you, 100% do it, because you will 100% not regret it. Working with your company and the way that you do things is fantastic, because you're just so organized, you're very clear about what you want, and you don't demand too much as well. You know what you want, you say what you want, you say what you need, and people just can do it.
I try not to be demanding. I try. I do my very best, But when people are late to Patch Tuesday, that's probably when I'll be a bit niggly. And and I was, I said it to you back a few months ago. I felt like I was talking to a brick wall, because this somebody was late to Patch Tuesday, and it was really difficult to kind of, especially when you miss out Patch Tuesday, especially when this other individual missed 2 Patch Tuesdays in a row. It did stress me out. Of course, it's very stressful. It wasn't easy, but then I had to remind myself, at least it's only the testing ring system, so it's all good. Yeah. So anyway, we're about to say goodbye to everybody, because of course it is nearly 8 o'clock. But before we say goodbye, I'd just like to take this opportunity to say, look, 25H2, I know we'll still be here together for the next 5 months, but as we enter what's now the closing stages of 25H. So is there a message you want to say to your friends, your family, or to anybody who has followed you since the 30th of September 2025 and the future and what would your message to the new talent would be when we announce them in a few weeks' time?
So to everybody who's been following, just a massive thank you. Thank you all for the messages and for the support. That's what we do it for. We do it for you. And I hope it's been good. And I hope that you've enjoyed me being the voice of the last year. And to the new talent, good luck. You are going to love it. You're going to feel part of something special. It's going to mean a lot to you. And I think you'll really get a lot out of it. So lucky you.
And my advice to you is, think of the year you want to join, and plan your dates from October that particular year to the September the next year, because we already know the dates for 27H2. I could come on here and tell you those dates, but I don't think I have time. Or do
No.
I? Do I? Okay, I'm going to try. Okay, October 12th, 2027, November the 9th, December the... Oh, no, let's not go there. Let's not go
go there.
We're not there yet, but we will be
No.
there soon. Listen,
Yeah.
Hannah, thank you very much. I will see you here on the 9th of June for our next voiceover session.
See
But
you
for
then.
everyone else, Sam Locke is going to be next. He'll be unboxing his French Boogie. But from all of us here, thank you very much, and we'll see you very soon.
The Arts and Culture Show. Officially
Officially.
the home of arts and culture. Sam Locke YouTube channel.
Right, shall we unbox the Boogie?
Yeah, that was a good show, RJ.
Let's unbox the Boogie now.
And now I got my camera on. All right. Here it comes. This is going to be a quick one.
Now that she's gone,
She actually,
Obvious-
she actually
Go
said the train word as well.
what did she say?
Sorted. She said the word of a train.
Now that she's not here, I gotta do this.
Wazzy! So this is, I'm holding now the French Boogie. It's a 2.0. Okay.
How do you know it's a 2.0?
Well, Josh unboxed his. Now we gotta do the dreaded batteries. We gotta do two one way round and the other two the other way round. Wazzy!
Why do we not mention the Wazi when Hannah's here?
She's not a Wazzy.
Why? Who is Hannah?
She's a wee.
Could have mentioned Tim, but obviously he didn't audition for me. But he was bad.
He was a bad SpongeBob pirate, wasn't he?
Tim.
Did he be a... yeah, that was the actual voice of SpongeBob did some live gigs. And he invited special guests to come out and help him sing the SpongeBob theme. Wow. And, believe it or not, a heavy metal band called Slipknot, well, their lead singer likes to sing SpongeBob in part of their gigs. Right, let me get some batteries. I won't, hang on a second.
So in 1981, he did a special masterclass on how the master reel was made, and we've been massive fans since the year 2006, and we'd be very interested to have the master reel, the WAV file, 16 tracks, and it has a new.
Hey, it's Peter Howell!
How do you know?
Alright, you ready, RJ? I got the batteries here.
Okay, let's go.
We're gonna hear the French Boogie!
Is it Canada or France?
It's France. So, left, or up, and down, on one side. And then we go, hopefully this is the right order. And then it's down, and up. You're saying, well, you ask him, RJ, are you an Austin Powers? You ask him.
Will he go, ow, 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 ow,
We'll see in a minute.
Or will he do it in French?
He
Bring us
doesn't
on.
he doesn't say ow, actually.
What does he say?
We'll find out if I can get it to work.
Otherwise, if it doesn't work, I'm going to go inside.
He said something else, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Here we go, let me put the cover on, and we're gonna play game 1. You wanna say hello, Boogie?
Hello, Boogie.
C'est parti pour faire le boogie. Choisis ton jeu. Jeu 1. Génial. Jeu 1. Combien sommes-nous à jouer? 1. Génial. 1.
la lumière jaune. Tu es prêt? Alors éclate-toi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
He's very crackly, isn't he?
Yeah.
16 points. Si tu veux encore faire le boogie, appuie sur le bouton.
You want to hear the test mode beep, RJ?
Yeah.
Okay.
The boogie!
Who do you prefer, him or the English guy?
The boogie!
Yeah, I should get one of my French actors to be the French boogie in a nice, clear voice.
C'est parti pour faire. C'est parti pour faire.
Wow, it sounds like a 2.0, a 1.0, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You
It's
ready?
time to boogie! It's time to boogie!
Oh, what does that sound like?
No, look.
Génial! Peux-tu mieux faire que ça? Que... Oh, raté. Combien sommes-nous à jouer? Appuie sur le bouton.
Maybe there's these on low batteries. What do you reckon, RJ?
C'est parti pour faire le boogie.
Boogie!
Does he sound like a 1.0 or a 2.0?
It's time to boogie!
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
It's time to boogie! It's time to boogie!
What do you think of who do you prefer, the French guy or the Aussie guy?
I think we should get someone to translate it, and then
Yeah.
we will do. It's time to It's time to boogie.
Yeah, we can get a posh guy to say it's time to boogie, baby.
Press the button because it's time to boogie.
Parti pour faire le boogie.
The boogie.
Génial! Combien sommes-nous?
Ah,
Génial! La lumière jaune. Tu es prêt? Alors éclate-toi.
I love that sound.
4, 5, 6, 7,
sounds like he's saying cease.
9,
So loud, this speaker, isn't it?
Yeah, it crackles.
Like the crackling glitch.
15, 16, 17.
It sounds like a Canadian game.
Couleur.
Mm.
Tu as 17 points. Si tu veux encore faire le boogie, appuie sur le bouton. Appuie sur le bouton.
Press the button. Why not press my button? He says press the button.
Yeah, so what do you prefer, the French one or the quite nice, quiet English one?
I like the French one.
Well, I got another one to try, but I think we're going to give it away to someone, aren't we?
Yes, you could wait. Did he say he's gonna have it, or if he doesn't want it, we'll give it
I'll
to him?
email him in a bit. But
Yeah. If he doesn't want it, then we're gonna give it away on our show on the 9th of June, and then you could win it. Yay!
Well, I might send it to an engineer. What's wrong with the speaker?
Or you could, because I don't want it, because maybe I should, maybe because I don't have a boogie, so maybe you could send it
Well,
to me.
I might get one to an engineer, because what's wrong with the speaker? It's so loud, isn't he?
C'est parti pour faire.
That's actually an Apple sound. Right, compare that to the English one. It's nice, less distorted. Let's listen to the English one. This one's less distorted.
Oh, you can't be on, baby. That's bullshit.
What if they could reverse engineer it to make it sound like the English one?
Well, on that note, I'm gonna go somewhere.
You're going to sleep. Well, guys, thanks for watching our special radio show, and I will see you for an ET stream tomorrow. And of course, we'll play the French boogie.
C'est